great about this is it's turning into like a reunion every year.
Right.
It's the same thing with like the Leary thing. You get to see all these guys that you started out with, or you looked up to, or whatever. So it's going to be a good time. And next year,
cool.
there's been enough people saying we should add a second show. So next year,
2 shows.
Next year, look at that, an old radio trick.
Exclusive.
An old radio
Imagine what
trick.
kind of hotel room you could get next year for 2 shows.
Man.
To the W.
I just want to say we missed the hell out of Patrice, man. He made everyone in this room better, and it kills us to this day. I just want to tell you personally.
Yeah.
Thank
on the
you.
radio.
I really appreciate
I miss the
that.
days
And
of him just walking down that long hall.
Yeah.
The 9th Annual Patrice O'Neal Benefit is set to go down on January 18th, 2022, marking 10 years since Patrice's death on November 29th, 2011. And, boy oh boy, it's, some show they're putting on this year. Bill Burr has organized the Patrice O'Neal Comedy Benefit each year since his death with the intent of raising money for Patrice's mother, his sister, and longtime girlfriend Vaughn DiCarlo, who rumor has it was recently cut off from the benefit money after her disastrous handling of the Patrice O'Neal documentary Better Than You, later released as Killing Is Easy on Comedy Central, much to the dismay of Patrice O'Neal fans. But that wouldn't be the final disappointment for Patrice fans, because this is the current lineup for January 18th's benefit.
Oh my God!
Before I get into the comedians set to perform for this event, I understand this is for a good cause. I don't have a problem with a benefit that raises money for Patrice's family, specifically for his mom, the person that shaped so much of his personality and helped him out most during the most stressful time of his life.
This is why I love my mother like I don't love anybody else. I have no love for anybody else like I have for my mother. I tell her the story. My mother puts me in the trunk of a car and sends me out of town.
In the actual trunk?
In the trunk of a car.
Holy shit.
And sends me the fuck out of town until she can figure this fucking thing out.
Bill's done a good job in keeping Patrice's memory alive, and I'm sure if he were here to see it today, he'd appreciate all Bill's done to provide for his mom and family. But this lineup is fucking pathetic. I mean, shouldn't the comedians at Patrice's benefit at least represent who he was as a comedian? I mean, Yamaneika Saunders, the one that Patrice argued with on Black Phillip.
So, ladies, do you have hopes and dreams or what?
Yeah, I got hopes and dreams.
For him?
Hopes and dreams? Yes, very much so.
All right, we're taking calls.
I mean, I don't know how close they were, but at least she knew him, so I guess that's not as egregious as some of these other names. Sherrod Small, though? Did Patrice like Sherrod, or did Opie just replace him with Sherrod? The Opie crew's actually really well represented at Patrice's benefit. Judy Gold was at Patrice's benefit last year, apparently and unsurprisingly, bombing according to this fellow's report. But you know who wasn't there from Opie's crew? Opie. What about Cipha Sounds? The guy who made the most milquetoast joke at the expense of Haitian people, and then immediately ran and apologized for the audacity of telling a joke that might have offended someone.
Look, I brought you guys some condoms because they're trying to stop the spread of AIDS in Haiti, so they were auctioning off these condoms.
I don't mess with Haitian girls, so I'm fine. I made a stupid, tasteless joke that was a one-liner that was taken totally the wrong way, and I want to say sincerely that I apologize.
Those golden handcuffs get awfully comfortable after wearing them for so long. The idea of comedy really is not everyone should be laughing. It should be about 50 people laughing and 50 people horrified. Well shit, 50 people horrified is small beans for a comedian like Matteo Lane, also set to perform at Patrice's benefit this year, because Matteo likes to start off every set on a high note. Literally.
Thank you. Oh my God, I actually am gay.
That's real. It's real charming right there. Maybe we'll get a live performance of It's Raining Stuff this year. But let's get to the big name everybody wants to talk about. The king of Staten Island, as it were. Pete Davidson, who in a Schumer-esque fashion has been thrust into the spotlight by the media and granted the title of comedian despite never really making anyone laugh. In 2011, when Patrice died, Pete Davidson was 17 years old. According to his Wikipedia page, he started his stand-up comedy career at the age of 16 after his friends dared him to go up at a local bowling alley. So I find it hard to believe that Patrice even knew of, much less had respect for a kid who couldn't even get into a comedy club without the help of his mom.
Yeah, I am 17, so unfortunately for you ladies, keep it down.
But Pete's there because he likes to support the black community, a community Pete apparently thinks he's part of.
I have a lot of black friends. I'm white, by the way. I know I look miscellaneous in the face. But that's another set.
I don't even know what race I am. I'm all miscellaneous in the face.
See, Pete's under the impression that not having a dad makes him black. I mean, who wouldn't mistake this guy for black? Here he is posing with 2 Armenians and a skeleton shrink-wrapped in a Glad bag. Just taking a peek at this with your naked eye, you would think that there were 2 black people in this picture. But hey, I mean, Pete's a real comic, don't you doubt that. Why else would he throw someone out for making a Mac Miller joke during his set and then threaten to confiscate everyone's phones?
So, what else is going on? Oh, my friend died in my apartment. Oh, Jesus Christ. Who's that guy? We're getting him out. Point out the guy who's a fuckface. Alright, cool. Michael Rose, go get him. Well, I'll wait. I'll continue until that kid's gone. Find him. He's up there somewhere. No, I think he's down here. on the left. Whoever, I'll leave. So if you want the show to continue, call out the person who did it, and we gotta get the fuck out.
That right there, that's some good comedy. I know that's just how Patrice would have handled the situation. No attempt to be funny, no clever comeback, just immediate indignation and offense taken that someone would make a tasteless joke at a fucking comedy club. The balls on that guy. Hey, but he brings in tickets, so it's okay. Sure, I guess, but does he? Are there really that many Pete Davidson fans out there willing to shell out $75 to go see him at a benefit for a man they've never heard of? So many of the comedians that perform at this event seem to have no connection to Patrice at all and just jump on the opportunity to work the benefit because Patrice is respected as a comic's comic, so showing up to support him lends credence to their reputation as a comedian. A little needless speculation here, but I'm pretty sure Pete is only at the event because he recently did a movie with Bill Burr. Just like Schumer, Pete has friends in high places, be it Stern or Burr, and due to the incestuous nature of stand-up comedy, no one in the industry is willing to call him out as unfunny until it's said by the overwhelming majority because rising tide lifts all ships. But this is Patrice O'Neal, a man that's respected not because of his commercial success, but because of his talent and unwillingness to compromise his beliefs for showbiz recognition. Speaking just as a fan, it feels kinda shitty to see his legacy represented by talentless industry shills like Pete Davidson or Leslie Jones, who also performed at the benefit in 2017. In recent years, the lineup for this benefit has just become so whitewashed and bland. Like in the same way that Killing Is Easy skipped over so much of Patrice's darker past, completely left out his interactions with Cumia and recontextualized some of his more controversial stances on race and women. And I'll say it again, I don't entirely blame Bill Burr for this less than stellar list of performers. I mean, sure, Bill hasn't been on the top of his game comedically since Let It Go in 2010, and he is without a doubt the reason Anthony's no longer invited.
Was you not going to the benefit because of Burr kind of being irritable about those comments still?
I thought it was, and then I thought maybe Opie, because Opie goes, if he goes, I'm not going to the goddamn thing. And then when this latest thing happened in December, Bill was like, yeah, we just kind of want to, maybe you shouldn't come. And I'm like, all right, I don't give a shit. It's not about me. It's about Patrice.
Actually, maybe with a doubt, because the real reason Anthony isn't invited is because of his Twitter and the bite marks on Danny Brand's hand. But anyway, at least Bill is trying. There's an attempt to preserve and honor Patrice's legacy. If none of the Opie and Anthony or Tough Crowd crew decided to show up that year, that's really more on them than it is on Billy Blue Balls. I mean, Jim Norton's got 3 tour dates set for the next 5 months, so if he doesn't show up, it's because he just chose not to. Compare that to a great friend like Rich Voss, who just like Bill has shown up every year since Patrice passed to MC the event. And it's not like Voss is a big name that Burr just has to book every year. Voss works restaurants. He's just a good friend that shows up. Same with Louis C.K., who made a surprise appearance in 2016 and at last year's benefit. It's pretty nice to see Patrice's friends with nothing to gain still showing up year after year because they want to. But really, why does this have to be an event showcasing people's stand-up? Like, with the current state of the Patrice O'Neal benefit, I don't know that this is the most efficient way to raise money for Patrice's family anymore. I have a hard time believing that there are enough Pete Davidson and Yamaneika Saunders fans out there that are willing to shell out $75 a seat to keep Mama O'Neal living comfortably. Which, again, I'm cool with. She should live a good life for raising a talented son. But the whole stand-up comedy benefit thing just feels like this maudlin, outdated concept that they do more out of tradition rather than it being the best possible venue to raise money for the O'Neal family. I think Patrice's stand-up was great. Elephant in the Room was hilarious, but it was in more in-depth conversations like on O&A and Tough Crowd that people really got to know Patrice and understand and appreciate his unique perspective. I don't think there are any fans of Patrice O'Neal's stand-up that haven't checked out the hours of him unfiltered on O&A. So in that way, I almost feel like a podcast-style sit-down with all of Patrice's friends in comedy would be a more honest way of remembering him. I know, a podcast full of comedians talking shit, what a wonderful new concept. But I feel like it would bring in more eyes and money having Bob Kelly, Voss, Burr, Colin Quinn, Jim Norton, Louis, Opie, and Anthony, if you could get those two queens in the same room again. If you just had all of them sit down and talk like the old days, not even necessarily about Patrice, but just whatever, there would be thousands of fans willing to pay for the privilege of listening to that. I know the Patrice O'Neal benefit isn't meant to be an O&A circle jerk, but it feels dishonest to not acknowledge what a huge part of immortalizing Patrice that show was. Like when John Lennon died, you can't just pretend that the Beatles were just a small part of his success and that him singing Woman is the End Person the World with Yoko is the real reason we all know his name. Just give Patrice fans something they want to see. I don't know, get the gang back together, charge for tickets to see it live, stream the event early for a price and then post it a week later for the ad revenue, kind of like what Luis J. Gomez did for his roast, and then you could give all of that money to Patrice's family. If it really isn't about the comedy and the comics that perform at the event and it's all about giving Patrice's mom as much money as possible, that would be the best way to do it and you would still make Patrice's fans happy. But at the end of the day, we can't really know what Patrice would have wanted. What made Patrice so great was that he was unpredictable. You couldn't assume to know what he would say about any given subject. His perspective was always unique. It's entirely possible that if he were still here today to see this video, he'd call me an overly sappy sissy, get mad at me for presuming to speak for him, and would really appreciate a Kardashian fucker like Pete Davidson showing up to pay his respects. I don't know. I can only speak from the perspective of a fan. All I know for sure is I'd love to hear his take on this, as the man who spoke for funny. I'm gonna go take a shit.